love to the people at home. Like, I'm at home. Hello and welcome everyone. This is Botany and Board. I am Bailey, and today I'm going to do a very different video. So, for those of you who do not know, Botany and Board is all about board games and plants. However, equally to those two things, I also love to read and I consume a ton of booktube. So I thought, why not just add some book stuff into my channel as well? Also, side goal, hopefully I get some more female viewers. So I've noticed that largely board gaming is a male-dominated hobby and most of my viewers are male. You guys are all great if you're watching this, but I would like some chick friends to join my channel as well. So I thought by sharing my love for reading and specifically my reading taste will probably lead me to some more chick friends. So we're gonna go ahead and do a just wrap up video of what I read in the month of July to start, and then I also want to start doing some tier ranking videos. So I kind of want to do tier ranking like all the books I've read so far this year, that kind of thing. Just tier ranking lots of different book things, favorite book boyfriends, tropes, that kind of stuff. That all sounds fun to me. But today I thought it'd just be easier to dip my toe in with a little, here's what I read in the month of July and see how this goes. For all I know though, you won't even find the booktube people. Like recommended to my game people and who knows, but we're going with it. So, okay, let's try to do it maybe in order-ish of what I read. So 1 second. I realized when I was doing this though that some of my books I didn't get jotted down. Like I noticed when I pulled one off the shelf, I was like, oh, well, I didn't put the other one in there. Okay, so starting off the month on July 2nd, I started reading Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So I've been thinking about doing a little Riley Sager either like vlog or recommendation video, something like that, because I have all of his books in his collection. So I went ahead and started reading Lock Every Door because I was trying to read them in order. I've read lots of the most recent ones, so I was trying to go back and like read them now in order to catch back up. So Lock Every Door, this one I ended up giving 4 stars, so I thought it was very good. So kind of the premise of the book, and again, this is my first time ever doing one of these, so will I be good at explaining books without giving any spoilers? I do not know. I will try to be very vague so that I only say things that I know are kind of like encapsulated on this here cover. So in Lock Every Door, effectively you have this girl. She is going to, and I can't even remember like how honestly she ends up in this situation, but she ends up going to the Bartholomew as an apartment sitter. So it's really good compensation. She gets to go there. And then, however, just whenever you get there, it's like, don't bother the guests and don't ask them questions. And so I think what this book does so well to me is just all the little character dynamics and the constant, like, misdirection that it gives you. So there's just so many different things with like meeting the different people that are at the Bartholomew. So she goes in and she on her first day makes friends with this girl named Ingrid, and then lo and behold, very soon thereafter Ingrid disappears from the Bartholomew. So she kind of goes on a war path. Our main character, whose name is Jules. Her name is Jules. I never remember people's names. Something that I'll have to figure out if I'm even suited to be doing this. But Jules finds Ingrid, then Ingrid just randomly goes missing, so she goes on a whole thing trying to uncover what happened to Ingrid and all of that. So, and she ends up finding out that Ingrid is not the first of the apartment centers to go missing. So Lock Every Door, I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars and highly recommend you checking that out. Also, I really like the cover, by the way. It's very pretty. I don't even usually like pink, but it looks good. It's up on our list. So I finished the last 2 books that are currently out of Magnolia Parks. So the way Magnolia Parks works, for the ones who do not know, there is currently 5 books that are out, and it goes Magnolia Parks, then Daisy Haites, then Magnolia Parks again for The Long Way Home, then Daisy Haites, The Great Undoing, 4th book, then Magnolia and BJ's final book here with Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. So you can see Magnolia Parks Into the Dark is huge. This thing is 720 pages, I believe. And I rated this one only 3 stars. So I will not get into why necessarily, because I don't want to like spoil it, but let's just say that the tone of the book was just, for so many pages, was just too much for me. Like, where I'm like, no, I can't handle it. Now, so 3 stars for this. Yes, you need to read this if you want to read, if you've been reading Magnolia and BJ's story. I wrote the other 2, the 1st and the 2nd book of Magnolia, 5 stars. Absolutely love them. This, I would give 6 stars because I am in love with Julian Haites. I completely fell in love with Julian. So Julian, and the way these kind of work is, since they kind of go back and forth, each couple, like, they kind of like fall in the same circle. So this one is focused mainly on Magnolia's, not to give, like, what can I not spoil? This is like really tricky for me. I'm not used to, like, in board games, there's not really like spoilers you have to worry about necessarily. So this is new. This is new uncharted territory. So I don't know like how much I can say. But what I can say is that Julian is amazing. So attractive. He does a selfless act in here, and that is what, like, we'll just say that vaguely enough. Selfless act, and that's what I'm like, Julian, yes, it's you. Anyways, so Julian will be getting some more books, and I need him to get his happily ever after. Daisy Haites, I like her as well, but Julian is where it's at for me. So all that to say, Magnolia Parks is a super captivating, like, very gripping set of books. Since I haven't got to talk about them yet, since it's only talking about this one, the first one, so Magnolia, I like flew through that one. Like, I didn't want to do anything but just sit down and read it, because there's cheating in that one and just so much toxicity, and you're just like, I can't walk away from this train wreck that's happening before my eyes. So I like feel like I honestly haven't got like quite so invested in a series in quite some time, and so I absolutely recommend reading these. And the only one that I'd say normally I wouldn't recommend that much is this one, but other people I'm sure probably love it. But just three stars on this one, 6 out of 5 stars on this one. So go check out Magnolia Parks. I'll also have some stuff up on my Instagram with some little like review graphics and some more details. Okay, and the next book I read was the 3rd in another series, so I do love to read series. So this is on the Stone Riders MC, so Motorcycle Club series, and this one is called Where We Promise. So on this one, and the 4th one is just coming out, I haven't quite read it yet, that will be on my August wrap up, I bet. And so in this one I was very excited about. So the first one in the series I rated 5 stars. It was Childhood Friends to Lovers. This one also has Childhood Friends to Lovers. Only difference is that she actually, like, growing up, and this really isn't a spoiler, that you understand this like right at the beginning. Growing up, she does not choose the main male character, whose name is, like I said, I'm not good with names. And my dogs aren't good at behaving, so, you know, everybody's got their things. Jameson King, that is his name. Okay, so she doesn't choose Jameson, she chooses the other guy. He is in a rival MC. She ends up pregnant by said other person, and then he just kind of abandons her. So Jameson swoops in. She ends up at the club, at his motorcycle club, Jameson's motorcycle club, and then he ends up to keep her safe. Turns into a little arranged marriage. So I thought that the premise of this and like the tension by having kind of like motorcycle rival clubs, like, is the other guy gonna like come back, that kind of thing. I was all very intrigued with it, but however, in the execution of everything, it was just 3 stars for me. And I think maybe a little bit of it too is that I didn't really like the whole fact that like she was pregnant and all of that, and so I don't know, there was just some things that were lacking for me on it. So I'm just at 3 stars. I would recommend it, you know, just like if you're reading the series, go ahead and like, you know, it wasn't like so badly like don't read it, you know? Okay, and the next 2 books I also read on my Kindle. So these are the last 2 books, at least that have been out so far, in a series called The Fight Game. So number 3 is called 3 Count, and number 4 is called 4th Degree. Oh, that's the 5th one, excuse me. So when did I read the 4th one? Oh, The Last Shot. So I read that one. I read them out of order, evidently. So I read 3 and 5 in this month, and I don't exactly know what possessed me to do that. Okay, right. This one is the one where it's basically like, so Danny's kind of like keeping him arm's length. She doesn't want to get close to people. And so these people are doing a lot of like friends with benefits stuff at the beginning, and then so you're just kind of like watching them go from that to like developing their relationship. Again, not a spoiler, all these things with romance are like, obviously you're going towards the HEA, so that's what's going on in that one. It was 3 stars. I had a fine time, but I wasn't anything amazing for me personally. And then for the 5th one, so this one again is a coach and an athlete, I guess, in this regard. So he is the coach in an MMA gym, so all of this takes place in the MMA gym. So she's actually going through and learning like jiu-jitsu or something like that for this one, but it's kind of, he is coaching her, and then you just like has a lot of that like angst and tension of like, you're not supposed to be together, he's supposed to be helping you, but then like clearly, you know, with all the teaching her how to do all these things, it puts them in very close positions and whatnot. So that one also is 3 stars for me, and I think a lot of people who like age gap and coaches things and whatnot, like I think you would have a good time. I just, for one, it's not my favorite thing. So both of those were 3 stars. I enjoyed my time. However, 5 Rounds, which is the first book, I rated 4 stars, and then 2 Fights, which is the second book, I rated 4 stars as well. And then the last 3, so the Fight Game number 4, I realize that I'm telling you a lot about stuff that I didn't read in July, but since they were series and I have literally never talked to you before, I felt this was also valuable information to add. So on One Last Shot is the 4th one, and I rated that one 4 stars as well. And I did like that one because that's Kane and Isabella. So Isabella is a ballet dancer, and so I used to take dance as a kid. So and I was also a Zumba instructor at college. So I love dancing, and so I was excited about that. And it worked well for me because the interesting thing about this one being an MMA series is that actually all of the girls, except for Isabella, so except for the 4th book, they all like kind of fight as well. And that's like one of those things, like, power to your girlfriend. But like I normally am like, I'm not getting in a ring with nobody. Like, no, that's not what I'm here for. And I really have no desire to like try to get better at like beating somebody up. It's not gonna do it for me. So anyways, they I think I really enjoyed that one just on the basis of like finally it was like, oh good, she's not a fighter. So but yeah, I really like that series overall. I enjoyed my time. So 3 and 4 stars on all of them. So nothing over the top where I'm like, you must go read it, stop what you're doing right now, but I did enjoy my time. Okay, so next on the list, I also read this one. Actually, I read this one mainly on audiobook. So I don't remember probably as many details as I did, but I did enjoy my time. However, I am learning something about myself in that I only gave it 3 stars. So in this book, we have Daphne and we have Miles. So Daphne is engaged to her fiance, who soon realizes that he is in love with his best friend, Petra. So he ends up breaking up with Daphne, getting with Petra. Petra was also engaged to Miles. So what do Daphne and Miles do? They decide to move in together as roommates. So it is kind of just the story of they're kind of like thrown together. It's a funny story how this all ended up, and you just kind of watch their love story, girl, over the top. It was 3 stars for me. I had a good time. The banter's really good. But again, I think that for me personally, everybody else races higher than me. I think I am just maybe not I think you call it contemporary romance, if that's what this is supposed to be called, this kind of genre, but it's lacking a little something. Like I like a little bit of, like whenever you read like dark romance or something, you get that like a little bit of like punch, and I feel like I'm just kind of lacking that. It's like everything is just kind of like politically correct, I would say, in a roundabout way. So 3 stars, I would recommend. Lots of people absolutely love it. For me though, it was just kind of middle of the road. So Funny Story by Emily Henry, a very popular author. Okay, and next, back to physical copy of the book. However, I listened to this predominantly on audio, but I do have a physical copy, so I was kind of following along. So this one is one of those that goes like past to present, past to present. So they are a group of friends that met at Oxford. So April Clark, was the first person Hannah Jones met. So Hannah Jones is our main character that we are following through, and so unfortunately what happened was my camera told me my limits were exceeded. but what happens is, so April ends up dying. Okay, so the whole thing is unfolding back from past to present to figure out who killed April, and so I really enjoy this one. Which I really like Ruth Ware. I'm a total Ruth Ware fangirl. Her books always keep me guessing as to who did what. So 4 stars on this one. I like The Woman in Cabin 10, I would say a little bit better than this one, but it also could have been that I read that one like pretty much in one sitting on vacation versus this one I was kind of like listening to while I was working, and sometimes I don't listen as good occasionally, but I did really love all the character dynamics in this and all of the just who can you trust, and I like seeing the intricacies of their little friend group. So I definitely will recommend this one. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you are like Ruth Ware's writing, I definitely think this is a good one to pick up. And if you're a romance reader, actually with the little friend group, there's enough like interconnected relationship dynamics that I really enjoyed that part. So there, girl. Next, we have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. So this is Riley Sager's latest novel that he has come out with. This one has a male main character, Ethan. So Ethan and his friend Billy were camping when they were younger, and he awakes to a slash in the tent they were in, and Billy is gone. Only his shoes are left. So you're kind of, again, going from past to present and trying to figure out what happened to Billy, because in the present, Ethan has shown back up to his childhood home. So his parents are downsizing and moving, so he is actually moving back into his childhood home. And so all of the memories are coming back, and he gets on to his neighborhood, little suburban setting, which I really love. And he starts seeing just weird things. Like a ball shows up in his backyard, and he's seeing lights around the neighborhood go out. And the old guy down the road is like, I saw Billy and whatnot. So lots of little like, what is happening? You got some like paranormal aspects in this. So I really enjoyed my time. I would say, so I gave it a 4-star on this one. For some reason though, I wasn't just flying through it. It took me like where I'd like read a little bit and put it down. Like it was lacking the catnip to make me just like keep flying through. So that was the only thing that giving it 4 stars, but I really did enjoy my time. She doesn't know where I put her ball, which is great. Okay, and the last book we have on our list is also been getting tons and tons of buzz. Everyone is saying this is like going to be their favorite book of the year, and so much praise. I've seen more 5 stars than I can count, and that is Just for the Summer. So this is my very first Abby Jimenez, if that's pronounced it right. You'll notice that I haven't been pronouncing all the author's name, and that's because I'm not good at pronunciation, so I'll let you read it on the screen and not try to butcher it. But I have not read one of her novels before. I really liked it. As far as, I gave it a 3.5, rounded up to 4 stars. So I did enjoy the main characters are both kind of likable. And again, what happened to me though is that the same thing with Funny Story, where I just it's just lacking something. I just need a little bit more like punch. It all just seems to like just fine. You know, like you could actually see that in real life or something. Like I like a little bit of like unbelievableness, or like I came here to like read this because it only happens in books type thing, but this like very well like, well, I mean, it's a weird premise. So the premise of this book is that he, the main character, male character, starts this Reddit blog. And essentially what happens to him is every time that he ends up breaking up with someone, the very next person they date finds their forever person. They end up getting engaged. And so he has this Reddit post. She ends up finding it and reaches out to him and is like, oh my gosh, this happens to me too. So they end up striking through, and they agree to do like a certain amount of dates and all of this. And so it's kind of like their initial just little setup, and watching them, of course, progress towards their happily ever after. There's lots of different things in there, like the mother drama, and just there's just a lot of other stuff like character development and whatnot that's all packed in there, that I think is what maybe a lot of people are rating at 5 stars. But sometimes I was just kind of like, nah, okay, I'm kind of like done with that. So I don't know. Still enjoy my time. 3.5 out of 4 stars, but not a favorite by any means. But so there you have it, folks. That was my July wrap-up. Rusty July wrap-up. I've never once done one of these, as you can tell by watching this now. So let me know if you like this. Hopefully I can find some more subscriber friends to join my channel. If you are a reader, let me know down below if you have also read any of these books, or if any of them sound interesting to you. Anything and everything you want to chat about, always happy to do so. So thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you next time.